I'm joined now by the Vice Chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Democratic Congressman Tom Malinowski. Congressman, thank you very much for being with us. I want to talk a little bit about the year ahead for Joe Biden in a second, but let's turn to Russia because it is the story of the day. And you have a particular interest in this because your family were from Poland. In fact, your auntie, I think, was in Poland in the Warsaw Uprisings during World War II. So you have a particular interest and focus on the Baltic states. What does the negotiation tomorrow in Geneva mean to you, and what do you hope will come out of it?
Well, what it should mean to all of us is that for decades now, since the end of World War II, the United States, the United Kingdom, our NATO allies, have successfully deterred tyrants from trying to change borders with tanks. This hasn't happened. We've had wars, we've had crises. We haven't had that kind of full-scale war in which an aggressive dictatorship decides, I'm just going to seize territory because I can, because I have that power. And that's what's at stake here today, not just for the people of Ukraine, but for all of us who care about preserving the peace that a lot of folks in our countries have taken for granted for so many years. So I still hope that President Putin, who's going to decide what to do in the coming days, will take the diplomatic off-ramps that he has been offered. But we need to be prepared. We need to be determined. We need to be united in case he makes the mistake of invading Ukraine again.
Some people have said that there isn't an incursion. There are so many weapons in Ukraine that it very quickly becomes a full-scale war. And if we got to that, do you think, from your perspective and the family perspective that we've just spoken about, do you think there is a real danger that we head back towards a Cold War era?
It depends on what President Putin does. No one in the United States or in the Western Democratic Alliance asked for the Cold War, but it proved necessary to deter aggression by the Soviet Union. And we, for many decades, pursued a successful policy of containment and deterrence, which preserved freedom for millions and millions of people and enabled ultimately people in Poland and Hungary and the Czech Republic and Latvia and Lithuania and all these countries to win freedom without firing a shot. So we have to, if we're tested, we have to be prepared to stand up for our principles and for the peace that has been so good to our societies for all of these decades. Look, again, President Putin has a choice to make. We've made this very, very clear to him. I think the good news is that NATO is very united right now in delivering a message that if there is movement of Russian troops across the Ukrainian border, that's the trigger, there will be incredibly punishing sanctions that I think ultimately Putin and his government will be sorry to have to pay.
Joe Biden has made the theme of his first year presidency the battle between autocrats and Democrats. I'm sure he would highlight President Putin as one of the autocrats. But you were you've served as the Assistant Secretary of State for Democracy, Human Rights and Labour. So this is a pertinent question for you. How can America be a beacon for democracy when the president is saying this?
The increase in the prospect of being illegitimate is in direct proportion to us not being able to get these reforms passed. But I don't think you're not going to see me, and I don't think you're going to see the Democratic Party give up on coming back at assuming that the attempt fails today.
I don't understand that, Congressman, because he's told us time and again this is a tipping point for democracy. And there he is again, questioning the legitimacy of the ballot.
I don't think he's doing that at all. I think we have confidence in our own democracy in the United States. It is being challenged. Of course, we saw on January 6th, I was in the House of Representatives chamber when a mob tried to overthrow a democratic election by force in the United States. So we have to be humble about the fact that American democracy itself is fragile and it has to be defended. But that doesn't mean that we can take a vacation from standing with people in Ukraine and Hong Kong and Myanmar.
The point he's making in that clip there is that if the voting reforms which Democrats want to get through the Senate, if they don't pass, then the election might not be legitimate because people won't be able to vote. He is questioning whether the electoral process can be looked at with integrity if the voting reforms don't pass.
I think many of us believe that it is important to pass legislation in the United States to make voting more accessible, easier, and to push back on very real efforts in some of our states to suppress voting, and even worse, to potentially nullify free and fair elections in the future. This is real. I mean, it's a debate we're having in the United States, and the president is concerned about it. That doesn't mean that we believe that right now democratic elections don't happen in the United States. We just had one. That's why Joe Biden is there, because we had a credible election in which the American people were heard and got the government that they wanted. And look, I hear this all the time, that there are problems in the United States, and so how can we speak with credibility to the rest of the world? You know, that's been true throughout our history. It was true when we had a struggle for civil rights in our country in the 1950s and 1960s. It's been true through decades in which we struggled to realize the promise of the Constitution for all of our people, which we have not fully done. And yet, you know, when I talk to folks from Ukraine, imagine how they would feel if I said to them, you know, I just don't think we can really defend your freedoms and your lives right now because we're not perfect enough as a society in the United States. They'd say, come on, we need you. The United States is still the only country in the world with the authority, the power, and the intention to stand up for democracy and freedom in an effective way. And so we have to fight these battles at the same time, at home and around the world.
Congressman Malinowski, really good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Ron, can I put to you the other point that the President